When we lose manufacturing jobs, of course, the first people hurt are the people who hold those jobs and their families and the people they love. But we should never kid ourselves. We are talking about the quality of life that everybody enjoys in our community, in particular people who are the most vulnerable. The manufacturing sector, which includes auto and defense for us, raised $2.5 million last year alone. They made up 35% of our campaign.
Loss of jobs in any sector impacts negatively on families, communities, and society, no less the work of service clubs, social agencies, and yes, churches. There is a ripple effect that reaches far and wide.
Not only are we affected in terms of our role in the community by those who need to come for food if they've lost their job, what we're seeing is an impact of the food bank on companies whose employees supported the food bank with food who are no longer there. BF Goodrich and NCR are two excellent examples of labor communities that were huge supporters of us who now aren't there.
Jobs lost in the manufacturing sector are having a domino effect in other parts of the economy. Workers in other sectors recognize the importance of this fight.
As people lose good manufacturing jobs, they also lose good manufacturing benefit plans. Those benefit plans allow them to purchase medications that they need and certainly look after their general health. And I think that there's going to be a decline in general health and more stress on the healthcare system.
I can show you the residual impact of what manufacturing jobs mean to my membership. 3.5 weeks ago, Hudson Bay Company just announced they're closing the Brampton store at Shoppers World in Brampton.
In the past year, we've lost 2 of our grocery stores, losing over 200 members. In the cafeterias of Ford, Chrysler, we've had anywhere from 60 to 100 members working there. They're now down to anywhere from 10 to 20 working there. So as Brother Buckley said earlier, manufacturing job losses affect everyone.
We're also finding that there's movement of our work out of the country, and this is something that is absolutely a link to the manufacturing sector. Air Canada has opened call centers in India. We do have an arbitration going on with some of the work that is directly linked to work that we do.
When we lose good manufacturing jobs, what we are left with is worse. Lower wages and less secure. These are the jobs our so-called boom economy is creating. Sometimes there are no jobs at all.
We've got a job action center. We have over 400 of our members, workers of Dana, going through the facilities using them. Our success rate of job finding is 42%, and they're all lower paying jobs. We have a number of our members that are leaving their families and moving out west.
It's really, really tough out there. You gotta do 3 jobs just to earn $20 an hour right now. And it's not about workers competing with workers now. It's agencies, temporary agencies competing with temporary agencies. One will offer you $8.25, the other might offer you $8.50 in cash. Like we said, no benefits, no health plans.
The campaign to protect manufacturing jobs has built on actions across the union. In Newfoundland, demonstrators protested the shipping of jobs offshore to China.
So the message is simple to the company and to the government. No fish to China, fish in that plant, fish in Fortune, fish in Europe. That's what they're going to do. And the government's job, especially the federal government, in the allocation of fish, is to say if you're not going to use that fish for the benefit of the communities and the benefit of the people, then we'll give it to somebody who does.
Working with the Toronto and York Region District Labour Council, the CAW pushed to get the City of Toronto to buy their new subway cars from a Canadian manufacturer instead of having them built in China, and succeeded.
There's a bigger picture here. You look today at what's happening to the auto industry. Now they're talking about doing a free trade agreement with Korea, which will further destroy and erode the important jobs in this industry. So no matter where you look here, there's those who think that globalization is the answer to cost saving. It never has been, it never will be.
Workers at the Collins and Aikman plant in Toronto, March 31st, 2007, occupied the plant to get the company to live up to the closure agreement and pay the workers their severance pay.
The fight is starting at Collins and Aikman, but there's going to be another struggle next week, and there'll be another struggle next month. The bottom line is that you're establishing the framework for our fight back within the auto parts sector.
The 400 workers won their battle when CAW members at other Collins and Aikman plants threatened to shut down deliveries of parts unless the big three automakers guaranteed the workers severance pay.
We're holding them all accountable for this as part of the process, and as the customers are still there and as the company is still there in Canada, we're going to hold their feet to the fire until such time as they put the appropriate money in trust to look after our people.
Workers came together from community to community. As part of the campaign, workers organized marches and rallies. Workers marched in Ingersoll, Ontario, in Woodstock, and in Kitchener. In Oshawa, the CAW and the local Labour Council led a march to bring the job loss crisis to public attention.
It's time our government woke up and understood that we are in a crisis. You know, although the country's not in a recession, we're losing manufacturing jobs across the country at alarming rates with no end in sight.
In Windsor, tens of thousands of workers and community allies marched through the city to a massive rally.
Today is about our municipal, provincial, and federal politicians working together, hand in hand, in solidarity. Get rid of partisan politics and put Canada first.
A lot of Canadians are feeling the pain of the loss of manufacturing jobs, but no community is feeling the pain as much as the city of Windsor is feeling that pain. But if we stick together, brothers and sisters, if we keep the heat on, the government leadership and all parties in the House to insist, let's get off of some of the chicken shit arguments we're having in the House of Commons. Let's deal with a real issue that's facing working people, and that's the loss of jobs.
National union leaders, politicians, and community leaders demanded the federal government step up and start protecting jobs.
These jobs are worth fighting for, and know this, the Canadian Union of Public Employees will work with you to defend those jobs everywhere in Canada. Stand strong! Quit negotiating trade agreements that are putting us out of work. Stop putting in place tax policies that let companies relocate in third world jurisdictions.
The loss of jobs continues as the Canadian dollar climbs towards parity with the US dollar. Workers are demanding that government protect Canadian manufacturing jobs against a growing trade imbalance which is putting Canadians out of work. The Manufacturing Matters campaign moved on to the nation's capital, where the Canadian Labour Congress held a national forum where workers representing communities from across the country came to tell their stories.
In October, more unexpected news. The company decided to close the Bécancour plant. I don't know if you realize the major effect it has when 380 workers find out at the same time that their plant is closing. This is an unbelievable economic disaster for a region like Morrissey, that from 2002 to 2004 lost 23% of its jobs in the manufacturing sector.
Qui de 2002 à 2004 a perdu 23% de ses emplois dans le secteur manufacturier.
But we can't compete with countries that have protected their industries and built them strong. We're at a point now where we have to build our industries up. We have to support them in the short term so that in the long term, we can become powerful.
Depuis la dernière année et demie, écoutez, on a fait beaucoup de pression municipale. With this type of campaign that we put on right now, it puts pressure together to all of them at the same time. And I think so it will be efficient too. And by building this type of strategy in the past, our people in Quebec are ready to do the fight, to fight back, to keep jobs, and to build Canada, build Quebec. Il faut utiliser de notre influence pour mettre des pressions importantes sur les politiciens fédéraux, provinciaux et municipaux.